with socialization, right? Is that so, Hisao? This is bad. I've really ended up being between a rock and a hard place. As much as it may pain me to do this, the truth has at least a chance of stopping this argument here and now. It's okay, Lily. They didn't harass me to come or anything. Lily gives me a disapproving grimace, silently radiating her strong feelings of displeasure in my general direction. She can be quite scary when she wants to be, though thankfully that isn't often. Hey Chan, you make that sound like it's a regular occurrence. It isn't? In the end, it doesn't matter so long as everything's getting done at a good pace. Let's just get this work over with so we can go home. Shizune snorts derisively and gets back to marking off the sheets in front of her, while Lily sighs and finds her way along the room with her hand following the filing cabinets lined along the wall. This would mark the only time I've managed to successfully diffuse one of these situations, but the grudging ceasefire built around mutual fear and respect makes this feel more like a Cold War than any real peace. I can't take all the credit, though. Lily's leaving her surely affected Shizune to some extent to make her give up so easily. Moments before getting back to my work, I noticed Lily reaching up to grab something up from above a filing cabinet. I almost offered to help, but her height gives her ample ability to take it down safely. Once she sets the strangely shaped device on the desk beside me, I realize just what it is, sort of, as she takes the old green covering off and sits down. At first glance, it seems to be an old metallic blue typewriter, but it doesn't take me long to realize it's far from ordinary. It has far fewer keys than expected, but those it has shown no lettering printed on them. Only the shadows cast by the tiny braille dots on them will give a hint to the thing's purpose. Blind typewriter? Oh, this? Well, you're not far off. It's normally called a Perkins Brailler, but it's basically a typewriter for the blind, yes. It presses braille into the page rather than text, which is why it has fewer keys. Huh, that's really neat. She gives a lighthearted grin at my curiosity over it. I have to admit that it appeals to my sense of novelty. Alright. Without further ado, we each get back to our allotted tasks. The loud clunking of the mechanics in Lily's brailler, and the tapping on the laptop's old and weird keyboard quickly fill the room. It's a nice atmosphere, really. Everyone knows what they have to do, and Lily and I get to sit beside each other and exchange the odd words as we work away. Nostalgic, that's what it feels like. It's pleasant, but just slightly stained with the knowledge that our time together is nearing its end. Excuse me, Misha? To properly address her, Misha bounces over from the filing cabinet she's peering into, in spite of Lily's lack of sight. For a moment, I think it's strange, but then realize it's exactly what I do. What's up? Could you ask Shizune where the attendance records for Class 3-2 are? I think they've been moved. Okie dokie. With that, she flares off to Shizune, who's working at a table beside us. Lily's familiarity with the council room and the efficiency with which she works reminds me that she, Misha, and Shizune used to all work together in the student council. Maybe this is a fitting end for her stay in Yamaku, working away just like she used to, surrounded by those she loves and at least liked. I look up, getting taken off guard by Shizune sorting through a drawer, rather than Misha. Sure enough, she plucks out a manila folder entirely blank, save for just barely visible bumps on its front, and holds it in front of Lily. Lily's hand flits over to check what it is, her fingers feeling out the dots of braille and confirming it's what she's asked for. Thank you, Misha. No reply. No reply, that is, save for an odd grin, no smile on Shizune's face. Ah. A couple seconds pass before Lily clicks that it isn't Misha behind her, but Shizune. Her momentary look of surprise is replaced by a slightly bashful smile. For a few moments, the room is all but still and silent. Eventually, though, Shizune strides back to her workstation and Lily begins typing once again. It only lasted a handful of seconds in all, but it feels like years of communication were made up for, and with in that one silent exchange. There, finished. I lean my head back and rub my eyes to try and work away their weariness. Staring at that small, rather poor screen's taken its toll. Excellent timing. The only thing left is to file these away, and I'll have my workload finished as well. Good. I can pack up the brailer and put it away while you do that. Thank you, Hisao. Misha, are you and Shizune far from being done? I look around for the two as I replace the cover over the brailer, only to see them waiting at the door. I guess that they must be waiting for us. With a minimum of wasted time, we file and pack up everything that remains and join them. Thanks for waiting, you two. We can't just take off without you, Hitchin. You've been a great help. Oof. Excuse me. Shizune nods approvingly, pleased with my efforts. I guess that's just the last class representative we're done and over with then. That's right. I'll miss you, Lily. I think it was fun working with you. Thank you, Misha. It was good working with you. And Shizune. Shizune thinks for a moment before formulating her response. It's not that she often communicates without thinking. Quite the opposite, but this time it's even more considered than usual. Misha looks a little surprised before passing on the message. Shizune says you'd better do your work over there better than you did it here. Far from taking offense, Lily giggles into her hand. If that's the case, then please tell Shizune to give those still here a little more understanding in the future. Competitive until the last. Maybe Shizune and Lily aren't so different after all. Tsuchian says that she'll be checking to make sure you live up to your end of the promise. Then that's how it will be. I better be off then. Goodbye, Shizune. Goodbye, Misha. Hisao? Lily takes a hold of my arm in hers, there being no need for a cane if I'm here to guide her. With a nod of farewell to the two, we set off out the door and make our way to the school grounds. As I turn to wave goodbye to them, I notice Shizune's gaze lingering on Lily. They may annoy each other, but family bonds aren't easily broken. Got all your papers sorted then? Yes, they've all been filled out and handed in. On top of things, as always, aren't you? She gives us an earnest smile at the compliment, but it feels as if her happiness is just a veneer over the fact that she's fully aware of how much she's leaving behind. Reminds me of... Okay, for a second I thought it wasn't recording. I almost freaked out. It reminds me of how she was like when I first met her. Always smiling, always a little bit aloof, always that little distance, always from everyone, for everybody. Even now, she still maintains that air around many others, especially those she's not close to. I had hoped that our time together would have changed that fact. Our pace slows, the two of us coming to a halt in the all but empty school gardens. Hisao is something that... Lily's words are cut short as I turn and wrap my arms around her, pulling her tight. I may not usually be given to such impulsive actions, but I just want to be close to her, even if it's the last time I'll be able to. All the other students have retreated to their dormitories and homes. Only the ruffling of leaves in the breeze make any sound whatsoever. Ah. As I draw back, I can see she has dropped her carefully maintained smile. Her hand hesitates, wanting neither to leave nor stay on my features. She's putting up a brave show, but her slight trembling gives her away. Lily may be able to control herself well, but even she can't hold her composure together now. This is the woman I've come to love, but also the one who is in all too short a time will leave the country forever. I'm sorry, Hisao. It's okay. You've got your own life to lead after all. We walk up to the hallway to the girls' dormitory hand in hand, our emotions by now largely quelled. Nevertheless, our hands grip each other's much more tightly than before. Faint, muffled voices can be heard from Lily's room, the origin of which aren't difficult to guess. Oh, of course, Hanako would probably tackle Lily. The moment she opens the door, Hanako bursts through and wraps her arms around Lily, taking her very obviously by surprise. Lily, Lily! Hanako? I'm going to miss you, Lily. As expected, she's on the verge of tears. Lily gently rubs Hanako's hair with her hand. In response, then pulls back and gives a warm, reassuring smile. Looking beyond Hanako, Akira can be seen getting up from the side of Lily's bed and scratching her head. Her eyes turn from Lily to Hanako to me, a stilted, weak smile hanging on her face. I try to return I try to return a more genuinely happy look, but the result is probably just the same. So, everything's set? Managed to hold back from killing Shizune? The comment draws an amused giggle from her sister. Yes, I have everything in order, and yes, I managed not to. Have you packed everything you need? Got the 2 bags right here, but there's still some stuff left at the Hakamichi's home. Oh, Hakamichi, I think that was, yeah, Shizune. There we go. I can pick that up while we wait there for tomorrow's evening's flight, though. Akira gives 2 large black traveling bags on the floor a hearty pat. She probably came to help pack and make sure everything was in order on Lily's end before going together with her. Lily, will you be okay over there? I'll be alright, I assure you. I'll have Akira looking after me as well, and you know that she's reliable. But don't worry, Hanako, I have your phone number after all, so we can stay in touch with Akira's help. I could send you things over in the internet as well. Hey, don't use me just because you won't learn how to use a computer. Hanako and Lily both giggle briefly, the mood lightening ever so little. That goes for you too, though, Hisao. I promise I'll contact you once I'm in Scotland. I know, I'll be looking forward to it. Her offer may be kind, but we both know that this is tantamount to breaking up. Neither of us has any illusion as to how well we'd manage a long-distance relationship. With nary a word of prompting, the 4 of us begin a long, solemn walk to the school gate. The numerous lamps scattered around the Yamaku grounds fail to do so much more than provide pinpoints of light in an otherwise dense darkness. A car parked on the road just outside the school grounds comes into view, its shining black exterior reflecting the dimly lit lamps of Yamaku. I call out to Akira in an effort to alleviate a bit of the heavy atmosphere. That your car? What kind is it? Don't know much about cars, do you? It's a Lancer Evo, solid and speedy. Well, it's not as if her comment on my knowledge is off the mark. I've never really taken an interest in them. She gives a small sigh. She's been good, pity I have to part with it tomorrow, just like the summer house. You guys were the last to visit it before it changed hands. Turning back from my rather faulty attempt at small talk, I glance at Hanako and Lily following behind us. By rights, Hanako should be leading Lily, but it's rather definitely the other way around as she clings tightly to Lily's arm. It's a depressing sight. So, I guess this is it. Indeed. Although the time for everyone to say their farewells is now, nobody really wants to take the first step. It's as if the longer nobody waits, the better the chances of them simply not leaving. Lily, do you really have to go? I'm sorry, Hanako. I won't be leaving you forever, though. I could still call you. Hisao will be here as well. I nod, but Hanako just clutches all the tighter to Lily's arm. After spending so long without anyone to call family, it must be excruciating to have to say goodbye to the one person that was as close to a mother as anyone could have been in her life. Lily lets out a long, sad breath. All Akira and I can really do is stand by quietly on the sidelines, since the only person that can solve this one will be Lily herself. Eventually, Lily pulls her arm from Hanako's grip and holds both of her shoulders gently. A much more decisive way to address than I've ever seen Lily take with her. Hanako, remember when we first met? When you entered my room for the first time after overhearing my consoling of a friend, you didn't say a single word for the entire night. Even as I poured you tea and talked, you sat silently and simply listened to what I said. It took many quiet meetings like that before you began to open up to me. But as you began to, I felt some of the happiest moments I've ever felt. I didn't become your friend because I pitied you, Hanako. I became your friend because I knew you were hiding not just from me, but from everyone. Your ambitions, personality, interests, tastes. I didn't know any of them, and neither did anybody else. As you showed yourself to me, though, I began to realize the person that you were, and became sure that our meeting was a very special moment. But Lily cuts her words short as she brings her hand to Hanako's head and brushes her fringe to the side, gently pressing her lips to Hanako's forehead. As she pulls her head back, leaving Hanako all but speechless and her eyes moist, Lily beams a wide smile. I believe you are a very beautiful person, Hanako. I am certain that you will become a strong and confident woman. You are a very dear friend, and someone whom I love very much. Just like Hisao, I will never forget you for as long as I live. I may be leaving, but you have your own life here to lead, just as I do. You have your own friends and hobbies. I really hope this doesn't actually end like this, Jesus. And your own hopes after graduation. I just want you to devote yourself to them, even after I'm not around anymore. That is why I think you will be okay, because you are your own self, with your own life. You yourself proved that to me. Hanako lowers her head in embarrassment, but nods as she does so. I understand. I know I have to say goodbye. I know you have to go your own way. But thank you, Lily, for everything. Thank you, Hanako. Will you be okay? There are a few seconds of silence before the answer comes. I will. Lily smiles, undoubtedly at least partially in relief. That makes me happy then. Goodbye. Goodbye, Lily, and farewell to you as well, Hisao. Goodbye. I'll miss you. She pauses for a moment before walking up to me. Her right hand outstretched in front of her takes a hold of my shoulder. Her left hand slowly and daintily reaches towards my face, taking my cheek in her palm. For a while, she simply holds my face, her fingers just slightly moving to take it in its contours. Usually her hands would be warm when doing such a thing, but the night air has given her skin a cool edge. I'm not sure how long we stay like this. Her clouded eyes pointed just below my own as she wears a wistful, almost distant smile. Eventually, though, I take her cold hand in mine. It's difficult to do so, but with a slight sigh, I gently remove her hand from my cheek. I hope you have a long and happy life, Lily, no matter where you might go. Thank you. I'll make sure to. She takes a long, trembling breath before turning slightly towards Akira's direction. Akira... Okay. With a nod, she takes Lily's hand and begins to guide her to the car parked outside the gates. They both walk slowly and deliberately, as if their movements have been rehearsed in advance. It's strange to feel like this now, watching somebody leave Yamaku. The feeling of unease I have now reminds me of the first time I walked through those black wrought iron gates that always looked far too pompous for what they were.